Hello, welcome everyone again. Welcome to this Q series on quantum technology, and we will proceed today with day 2 of this series. So today we have with us our first speaker, who is Kirill Shiianov. Kirill Shiianov is a quantum technology specialist with expertise in quantum computing and related hardware platforms. He has an academic and R&D background in experimental condensed matter physics and quantum systems. He has worked on numerical modeling, including HPC-driven industrial simulations, and participated in the development of novel devices and proof of concepts. As a quantum computing specialist at Capgemini Engineering, Germany, Kirill is supporting technology and business aspects of advanced and research-intensive projects, which involve quantum computing and other deep tech-related initiatives. Building on his broad background in experimental physics and quantum systems, he investigates the potential value that quantum computers can bring to different industries in the near and mid-term scope, working on research projects such as equality. The most exciting part of his job is building the connection between fundamentals and applications of quantum technologies, paving the way for quantum advantage in real-world tasks. With this, we would like to invite Kirill.
Good time of day, everyone.
Hello.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for a wonderful last day. It was truly interesting to listen to the presentations, and it's an honor for me to take part in it today.
Welcome again.
Can you see my screen and can you hear me well?
Yeah, it's visible, and I can hear you as well.
Yeah.
For the audience, if you have any questions, please drop your questions in the chat box so that we can answer them towards the end of talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Asif. So my today's talk will be focused about slightly different perspective. Yesterday and later today, we have heard and we will hear many interesting things from the researchers, from the experts of their field. And here I would like to give, therefore, another vision. How does the industry, as a final benefactor of quantum technologies, hopefully, sees it? So what's the state of the art? What are the current technologies used? What are the main interests? And most importantly, what role could you play in it? And actually, I would see this presentation ideally as something that would help you answer the question, what should you do in quantum to produce the value thought for? Hence, most of our listeners today and yesterday are bright young scientists from all around the world. And I believe it's truly important to be able to answer such questions, right? Because at the end, we do quantum partially because it's a fun science, but also because eventually we hope for bringing value with it. And in a nutshell, the next 30 minutes of this presentation would be answering this question with watch broadly, right? So we are all very good at what we do at very narrow, highly advanced scientific topics. And then to bring the actual value to industry, to end users, to the world of technologies, we will often have to, jump a bit up and have a bird's eye view to watch a bit further than our immediate expertise. And the value is truly immense. In our today's talk, I will cover first several primary use cases of quantum technology in industry, such as chemistry optimization and cybersecurity. I will give a brief overview of the market situation, and if we have more time, that mention that quantum is not necessarily computing. And let's start with maturity. So as everything happens, some technologies are more advanced, some technologies are more practical, others are less so and maybe more scientific. So here I've outlined three main use cases for quantum computing in terms of the value and in terms of their technological readiness level. And those are quantum chemistry, combinatorial optimization, and cybersecurity. And let's start with the first one. I'd like here to quote Matthias Treuer, technical fellow and corporate vice president of quantum at Microsoft. He says, if quantum computers only benefited chemistry and material science, that would be largely enough. That would touch 96% of all manufactured goods and bring benefit to 100% of humanity. So quantum chemistry has truly immense impact on our day-to-day life. We may not notice it, but a lot of things around us were developed from applications like material science. And that's why, that's where quantum computers would probably bring the most immediate value. Right? What's the actual problem that we try to improve with quantum computers is solving quantum chemical problems with higher accuracy. As one of our presenters covered yesterday, the methods, how we can do it, for example, but actually here the industry cares mostly about the precision and maybe not necessarily the speed up. That's mainly because there are some substances that you can simulate to a certain degree of precision right now with classical technology, but you need better. You need just to know the properties of the materials to a higher degree of fidelity. The main domains of application for those type of problems can be found in material science, in drug discovery, and yet kind of everywhere in the current world. And why did I mention that use case is the first one is that we kind of expect the first practical use case to appear within a year. And that's tremendous news. Like 5 years ago, we could not even dream of answering the question, when will we see something useful from quantum? And now it's pretty much the decision that, let's say, average decision over the people in the industry that roughly within maybe 2025, maybe 2026, we would see the first ever evidence, cherry-picked use case where quantum computers have helped, not necessarily solved everything in an instance, not at all, but maybe helped advance some results and hence make a practical value. However, due to incredibly long R&D cycles in such industries like quantum chemistry and material science, of course, the first quantum designed label on a product will appear maybe in the next decade. But that's still, that is already extremely mature for the scope of quantum technologies as we know it. And a very important question contributing to what I've mentioned in the beginning is, okay, what could you help with and what does industry actually seek for? And the industry seeks for experts with profound domain expertise. So not only domain expertise in quantum computing, but domain expertise in chemistry in this case. So it's kind of been shown that it's a bit easier to take an advanced quantum chemist and teach it working with quantum computers rather than take an advanced quantum computer person and teach it doing state-of-the-art chemistry. So here it's indispensable to have specialists that are apt at both. And any experience with methods like DFT and such would help a lot. Then second, as you will see from the next slide, data-driven approaches are a big thing because as long as we can't just drop the whole huge molecule on a quantum computer, we will still need some workarounds, some machine learning, etc. And so combination of quantum computing and machine learning, anything helps a lot. And of course, there is a huge demand in specialists that just make it better, stronger, faster. Right? So all sorts of middleware improvements are warmly welcome. How does industry approach the problems in quantum chemistry right now is mostly by carefully block by block building end-to-end pipelines, right? So it's super important to bring the value at the end of the value chain, right? So starting from decomposing your molecule, embedding it somewhere, running it on some hardware with certain error mitigation techniques, etc. You need to not necessarily build it all quantum, but you need to build it all and get at the end your answer to the actual practical problem you're facing. And that's what we mean by end-to-end pipelines. They are, again, not necessarily fully quantum, and actually the quantum bits are vanishingly tiny because, yeah, classical technology is still very much advanced in computers. Quantum computers are still small. Next approach is using highly tailored simulation of very specific problems, such as primarily problems that classical computing currently struggles with, such as transition metals, metal organic complexes, etc. So basically any elements, any molecules where you can see a complex intertwining of electronic orbitals of something that is genuinely hard to resolve on a classical computer, and most importantly, where the classical methods such as DFT struggle in terms of precision. And then you spray it all with a lot of fixes, adaptations, tailoring, etc., to make the best value out of it. And again, data-driven. So quantum computers is tiny. Quantum computers are tiny, and we can never hope to put a molecule of 20 atoms, which is a fairly small molecule for applications like drug design, fully within a quantum computer. We won't have that good qubits for quite a while more. So the core is to carefully decompose the problem and extract the single piece that we can actually embed in a quantum computer, and then do the rest in a highly data-driven approach. So you get maybe 3% better result from your quantum simulation or quantum computer than you could get with your DFT. But then this 3% plugged into the value chain, plugged into all this pipeline of for example, that drug discovery, right, where you sort the molecules, where you try to select a better one for a given application, that may yield in a yes or no answer at the end of the chain, and that's actually the goal. Next, passing to optimization, I would like to quote Professor of Free University of Berlin, Jens Eisert, that, well, before we talk about any kind of practical quantum advantage, we should have a look at what do people do on the classical side. And, well, oftentimes they bring us surprises. And that's basically what governs the whole state of the art in combinatorial optimization with quantum computers. This was one of the domains that actually spurred the interest of quantum computing. Apart from chemistry, with Grover's algorithms, with Shor algorithms, people were extremely excited to find applications, to find quadratic and sometimes exponential speedups to combinatorial optimization problems, because basically combinatorial optimizations are ubiquitous. You can find your optimizer in your Amazon delivery, or in your flight schedule, or in any manufacturing type of problem. But then, in fact, what we can get with the quantum computers right now is not that much. And in the next slides, I will cover why. Yet, the main aspiration for now is to get, first of all, faster solutions, faster time to solution, and hopefully to a not too bad of a solution. That's the ambition for now, because quantum computers are still fairly small for any kind of industrial applications. Unfortunately, unlike chemistry, we can't really hope to get any quantum scheduler, quantum computer-driven scheduler, to get your actual Amazon truck within the next 5 years at least, right? And the reason for that is that classical computers are just too good, and they're very hard to beat. And there is another couple of reasons I will cover in the next slide. And if you talk about the domain expertise that you would need to have to come and revolutionize this domain, it's first of all some fundamental math and computer science, right? So it's not necessarily quantum knowledge, but it is advanced knowledge in math, in graph theory, in group theory, etc. Because these are the sort of straightforward approaches are useless. The highly aspiring Grover algorithm and Shor's algorithm are maybe not for the next 5 years to be used. And then we need to adapt here and there. And that's why we need a lot of knowledge in classical math and classical optimization, right? Another thing that would help a lot and that is highly sought for is practical experience with any kind of optimization solvers of industrial scale, such as Gurobi, Cplex, etc. Because as Professor Reiser has told, you first have to have a look on where do you struggle with the current methods, and then try to resolve the struggle, not just reinvent the wheel all from the beginning. And with those kind of specialists, we are advancing the field as much as we can up until the next Grover moment. So we do desperately wait for the moment when someone else will come and invent something like Grover algorithm, but better, like something else with more realistic demands on hardware maybe, or faster than quadratic speedup. So this is hardly a venue to walk by oneself, but that's a general expectation from the industry, right? So we are now maybe reorienting partially our efforts towards chemistry, and in the meantime, yeah, go to science and proof of concepts in optimization. So why things are not so brilliant with optimization is mostly because of these few reasons. First, quantum computing has been heralded to solve all the QUBO problems extremely fast because it's native mapping, because it's super efficient, because of Ising Hamiltonian, etc. Well, it took maybe some 5 years for industry to figure out that there is actually not that many pure QUBO problems. QUBO stands for quadratic unconstrained binary optimization, which, yeah, in physics terms means Ising-like Hamiltonians. And actually, majority of the problems that we see as a pure QUBO format are already solved, and it's not actually the part of the workflow that we struggle with. And just for reference, some heuristic tools at a relatively inexpensive for industry standards cluster can solve QUBOs up to 100,000 variables in minutes with decent precision, with decent degree of optimality. And yeah, 100,000 qubits, it's probably not what we're gonna see in 2025. So beyond QUBO, things get very fast, very much more complex for quantum computing, because encoding sophisticated constraints, encoding higher order optimization is, well, much less trivial. There are workarounds. This is probably one of the most productive areas of research as of now in academia, figuring out what else can we encode on a quantum computer fairly efficient. And the last problem that we actually face in industry is connectivity and hardware embeddings. It would be nice if we have 10,000 qubits to solve a 10,000 variables problem. However, well, when we map a 10,000 variables optimization problem, we often figure out that it is way more densely connected than any kind of our hardware. And then comes the overhead of mapping, like what you can see on the picture on the right, is essentially 5 nodes graph on a neutral atom machine using gadget, taking like a lot of qubits. I think it's degree 3 to the power of 3 or to the power of 4 in terms of scaling, and that's very daunting. So if you want to solve, if you have a 100 or even 1,000 qubit machine, all you can hope is like 20, 30 variables, which is a bit beyond pen and paper actually. So this is not very promising for now, and mainly because classical computing is simply too good and all the simple problems they have already solved. However, we don't lose our faith. And what we do is, in first place, we focus on suboptimal samplers. What does it mean? Well, Grover's algorithm is expected to find you the solution, right? So any brute force, precise optimization algorithm can find you the best solution. However, industry does not always necessarily need the best solution out of them all. It needs just a good enough solution. And that's what quantum can help with. So you're going to have a machine that is bringing you much closer to your optimum in a fairly short time. And then the rest you tackle classically. That's what we know as a warm start technique. And another approach to do such kind of optimal samplers rather than optimal finders would be hardware efficient approaches, such as, for example, maximal independent state, maximal independent set problem, which is fairly efficient for any kind of Rydberg atoms quantum computers, as again just a physical sampler of an answer to a given optimization problem. And of course, we can go heavily on hybrid algorithms, where half of the problem is solved classically and half of the problem is solved in a quantum fashion. And here, maybe the most promising approach would be, again, from classical to quantum. So you figure out a state-of-the-art classical optimization algorithm, you decompose it into bricks, and then you figure out where in this pipeline can I improve something with quantum. And first of all, where do we struggle? Which part of the algorithm do we struggle with in classical? And then can I bring any kind of improvements to it with quantum? And of course, you can do quantum machine learning and all kind of variation algorithms. They're pretty meaningful. They're not always first the struggle if you have to pay the hardware, but they're, as any kind of machine learning algorithms, they're pretty potential. And yeah, classical machine learning is not too bad, and quantum doesn't make it much worse. So it's another venue to explore. That's it for optimization. And now we are passing to cybersecurity. Quoting Michel Mosca from University of Waterloo, there's a high chance that by 2031 we would see first real danger to current cryptography algorithms. Maybe as of now, this boundary has moved a bit further. Nonetheless, the menace is still there. And then the question comes, okay, the RSA code takes immense amount of qubits, like millions of qubits to millions of good and fault tolerant error-corrected qubits to break. So why would we care? We would definitely notice when quantum computers start approaching it. And surprisingly, we do care to become quantum safe as early as now because of what's known as harvest now, decrypt later type of attacks. In a nutshell, that means that if someone captures your data now and quantum computers come in, let's say, 10 years, if your data is still valuable in 10 years, then, well, you've lost. And currently, the race is between how fast does it take a given organization to become quantum safe versus how long does its data basically expire in, right? And actually, this is one of the more mature approaches using quantum because it's not really reliant on quantum computing. To protect from quantum threats, you're quite good with classical algorithms that are proven for now to be intractable for quantum computing methods. And this is known as PQC, post-quantum cryptography. And being fully classical algorithms, they don't really rely on the progress in quantum hardware. Therefore, they can be implemented right now. And that's what we witness. So actually, market is now transiting into quantum safe solutions just because of what's mentioned before, right? That they want to protect from the errors, from the menace in the future. Another approach to secure yourself from quantum computer is quantum key distribution, fundamentally safe way of transferring any kind of data. But this is heavily reliant on hardware, so it's not yet maybe in the active industry transition phase, but we can see that certain machines are being developed, tested in realistic environments. Therefore, we can assume it's a high technology readiness level technology, and we are witnessing, or we are going to witness very soon, its massive introduction. This was with the 3 use cases. There are, of course, other use cases, such as simulating differential equations, for example, etc. Those are maybe a bit of further horizon, and they still remain within exploratory domain. With that, we are transiting towards a brief overview of market situation and what actually industries care for. And starting with industries. Who would benefit from quantum computing? Well, almost everyone. That's what they say in the news. And in reality of today, we are still mostly relying on what we know as first technology adopters, right? So the companies that are more high-tech friendly, that are more outgoing, outlooking, etc. And first of all, it's industries with where quantum computing can have high commercial potential, such as pharma, biomed, etc., and industries with high research and development budgets, such as finance, for example. This is not exhaustive list, and by no means the logos on the slide are all the companies that are interested in quantum. There is many, many more. This is just a peek of some of them. Yeah, so the industries that can invest in quantum and basically not lose a lot. Next ones are the industries with long R&D cycles, because quantum is not going to mature in the next few years, and well, not everyone is ready to invest at the horizon of 10 years in a technology that is not evident yet. However, there are some industries like material science and aerospace engineering, for example, where typical R&D cycles are at the duration of 10, 20 years. So they're much more accustomed with more venture investments. They're more accustomed with longer maturity terms. Therefore, it's all right. So if it takes, for example, 10 years to develop a new plane, they're all right to explore now how can quantum computer help them run that plane in 10 years. And actually, that's by no means exhaustive list. The first two are maybe the most active for now, but more and more companies are jumping on that exploratory train, and they basically prepare themselves for the future with proof of concept, with technology transition maps, etc. And if you're searching where could you go and work in industry once you finish your academic path, then the scope of opportunities is truly immense. You can work at basically any company now has, well, many companies right now have substantial interest in exploration, at least, of quantum computing for their use cases. So that's exciting times to live. And however, in practical terms, we can notice that to bring any substantial value, the POCs are not enough, and vastly not enough. So more and more companies are transiting to more longer terms in terms of investment, like 3, 4, 5 years working on a single topic. And that's good. That's good for us because we can finally bring the results from industry to academia, not only the opposite way around. Quantum computing is genuinely a global effort. And this is just a brief overview of the quantum budgets by different states. And what's curious here is that just 2 years ago, the number was 20 billions. Now it's more than 40. That's incredible. There's very few technologies that have fetched investment, first of all, governmental investment at such a stunning pace. And maybe 5 years ago, this map was half as full as it is now. So it's extremely exciting. It's extremely exciting that everyone, including governments, understand the importance of quantum technologies and is ready to act. With this, the question is, where does this money arrive at? And they arrive to the providers of quantum computing. And if we have a look at, for example, hardware market, as hardware being sort of the foundation of any kind of advantage, you can see that it's extremely heterogeneous. And this picture is from Oliver Ezraty book of maybe last year. And by today, it has dramatically changed. And half of these numbers are double now. It's super, super, super diverse market, mostly fueled by startups. And if you classify them in different parts of the value stack, we can see the trends. First of all, hardware. Hardware providers are indispensable players on quantum computing market. However, they are coupled with relatively long maturation and high uncertainty. So if you go develop some hardware, there is a non-zero chance that the company goes bankrupt. However, well, that's inevitable. Someone has to make that hardware, and if no one develops the hardware, then there's no point of everything else. Another interesting venue appearing now is making the midware, and this is actually selling shovels during the gold rush. If you come and develop electronics for measurement of quantum circuits, for example, or compilers, efficient circuit tailoring techniques, etc., well, this can be applied to much more than one modality, and this is likely to succeed. This is one of the most hot parts of the market right now. It has been practically inexistent a dozen years ago, and now it's maybe one of the most diverse out there. And of course, there is software. There is software and algorithm, and this by now is already quite an explored venue, maybe a field market niche. There's a lot of quantum software companies out there, and I tend to believe that it's maybe a bit too early for some of them, in the sense that once you finish your PhD or a postdoc and decide to go industry and open your own startup, you may face the fact that any startup it has a finite expiration date, right? As any kind of investment. And let's say typical term is roughly 3 years. So you make your company, you get your money from your investors, and then in 3 years they come back and they ask, okay, what have you done? And if this company does not deliver any value within 3 years, you fetch no clients. And well, this 3 years term is mostly bottlenecked by the hardware development, right? So if you develop an algorithm for quantum chemistry that would ask you for 300 qubits, and by the time there is no 300 qubits on the market, well, the algorithm serves nothing, and the second round of investment is closed. Right? So that's the trick that has unfortunately been dramatic for a few companies out there. And what's worth mentioning is that the market of software is highly reliant on clients, and many of our clients for now are not quantum companies, as you have seen on the previous slide, but rather quantum developers within those companies, right? So you're not serving Bosch directly, you're serving some guy that works at Bosch and develops quantum algorithms. And this is not such a large market, in fact. So what's worth mentioning is one shouldn't aim for too high-level software. So one-button quantum chemistry solver is not going to sell, because simply it's still a technology for experts, and it's unfortunately going to remain a technology for experts for still quite a while until we have truly immense, large-scale, fault-tolerant quantum computers. And there is the developers are not always needing one-button tools, right? So it's important that any technology, any value, any product you create is actually solving something, alleviating some kind of bottlenecks existence there. We can go to a huge map of from the Quantum Insider of all sorts of companies out there, and you can see that generally all across the stack, from end users to hardware components, there is a plethora of companies approaching the problem at different level of maturity. Some aim for FTQC, fault-tolerant quantum computing. Some aim to fetch the value earlier. Some, again, sell the shovels, like measurement equipment, etc. Some are organizing the networks, for example, of other companies, right? Or end-user solution, like orchestration software, etc. Well, we're living in exceptionally exciting times, and it's up to us, it's up to you to fetch all this value. In the remaining couple of minutes, I'd like to mention that while we have always been talking about quantum computing, and most of this conference is focused on quantum computing and its applications, quantum for industry is not only computing. There's actually other quantum technologies, right? And quantum computing is yet maybe one of the least mature out of them, right? We are highly hopeful, and we are maybe one step from delivering practical value, but there are even more mature technologies, such as quantum key distribution, right? Quantum cybersecurity is practically a developed technology, right? We are now trying to transit into active and scale use of it. And we should never forget quantum sensing, that compared to all of them, it's already driving down the highway full gas with devices operational at scale and delivering well, scientific insights or products right now. To sum up our conversation, let's focus on the main ideas that I hope I managed to deliver today. So first, we are living in an amazing time. There's a lot of opportunities for each of you to fetch, to develop yourself in, and truly the market is expanding at impressive pace. There is a space for everyone. However, oftentimes real success in industry comes in combination with deep expert knowledge. It may be within a certain person, it may be within a certain team, but it's indispensable to have an expertise in the use case. Then talking about use case, it's important before proclaiming quantum advantage and super exponential speed up, it's important to look at the state of the art and, well, learn your lessons from it. And oftentimes, state-of-the-art algorithms can serve a good source of inspiration. Equally, less pleasant note that superficial solutions and POCs using standard problems are no more of much importance for industry, and people and companies are searching for longer commitment. Yeah, finally, the market is diverse. There's a place for every one of you with all your expertise and skills. And whatever you do, you should be aware of the time horizon of technological bottlenecks and, join the tech when it's needed, when your expertise is needed. And last personal message from me is, yeah, we all need hardware, and we need brave and dedicated people to go and develop it, because, we can invent anything, but without a proper quantum computer, we don't have a lot of chance. That's it. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm happy to